Hello, hello, hello from downtown Empty House. I'm in the process of moving, as you can see. Behind me, the whole house, I'll just show you, is cartons. The whole house is lots of cartons all over the place. So I'm in the process, getting ready to move from the southern neighborhood of my town of Zichron Yaakov to the middle of my town of Zichron Yaakov. I wouldn't like to, but I am going to begin with just a sad word. We have several deaths, and if we believe that there's something wrong with death, then we can be very sad today. First, we have deaths of people that we know. David Briscoe, renowned macrobiotic scholar, teacher, chef, apparently died a few months ago, and I don't know if others knew about that. And some reason the news is just coming out now. So very sad and sorry to hear about that. Also, Dr. George Yu, another one who died at the end of August, I understand, so recently. Again, I don't have any details knowing anything more about it. Sego,
No, Yuko
right, Sego's father, what's his last name?
Okada.
Okada, Sego Okada, who we hope to have on the forum in a few months. His father just passed away. And then some others that I knew less well, Donald Cox from Great Britain, who I don't know. And then I want to remember that, or speak about that there were 6 Israeli hostages who were murdered just in the last few days, just Wild West. And Israel, the country, is so distraught. I mean, just everyone, we're such a small country, and everyone knows someone who knows someone else. Such a small country, and it's a feeling I never had as an American, of being really connected to each other. It's hard to explain what it is to someone who doesn't have it. It's something that's relatively new for me. I'm in Israel for 50 years, and it's more clear and clear as the situation develops. And the latest news I just was watching is that the Labor Federation wants to strike the entire country tomorrow. The airport is supposedly closing down, and all businesses, everything, the whole country will be on strike tomorrow in protest. I'm not going to get into politics because that's not my thing, not my way, and you can always find both sides of any issue. I think that's what I have to say. If more conversation develops, that's fine. Now I would like to introduce Leonard Jacobs, who will introduce our speaker, Fransje. So Lenny is a dear friend of mine, more and more so. He's so helpful for this forum. He's really giving it an amazing boost of energy, and I'm so grateful. Longtime macrobiotic friend, lives in Asheville, North Carolina. And Lenny, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, and welcome everybody for the first day of September, the beginning of the month of the equinox, where everything will become equal. So we hope. Equal day and night, equal love and hate, maybe a little more on the love side than the hate side, but we know that yin and yang always balances in some way. And we appreciate Frans-ye joining us and coming in from the Netherlands. And just to extend what Ganat was saying, David Briscoe, longtime practitioner and teacher of macrobiotics, well respected on the West Coast primarily, although he's from Kansas originally. He passed away at the age of 75. And Yuko Okada, who was the successor of the founding company Muso, most of us have found Japanese ingredients, shoyu, miso, kuzu, sea vegetables, to be an essential component of our practice of macrobiotic living, macrobiotic diet, macrobiotic principles. Use these traditional foods, and Yuko's company, Muso, along with several other smaller companies, was responsible for the export and distribution, the research for finding the highest quality foods. And so as we've relied on those foods, we've depended on their expertise in finding the highest quality Japanese manufactured foods, and then some of them are coming from Europe and North and South America. It's strange. Yuko himself, who I've known since 1970, has had a lot of health issues, and he himself, not professing to be any kind of number 7 specialist, but has been macrobiotic since birth. His parents were macrobiotic. He's been macrobiotic since birth, and he died just before he's 79, but he's been sick for the last 10 years with a variety of issues. George Yu, who was the counselor to Norio Kushi, who had a terminal form of cancer, George Yu had been studying macrobiotics and teaching both macrobiotics and his own discoveries about cancer prevention and cures, died of pancreatic cancer, August 29th. Just to say, all of our best ideals, expectations, our vision for one healthy, peaceful world, it has to extend well beyond the practices and the principles that we have held from the books, from the teachings, from the teachers that we've known. There's no example among them of the teachings that they have espoused. Fransje, who I've only met recently, said that she recognized the limited psychological evolution of the people that she met when she came to Boston and lived in the macrobiotic community. And I think Fransje, from her background, which she may share some about, being in the film industry in the Netherlands, and then discovering how much her life could be changed, modified, changed, metamorphosed through new kinds of practices, discovered macrobiotics as well as other life-improving, life-evolving practices. And I'd like to welcome her to our forum and suggest that she recognize and share with us what she's learned for physical health, but also emotional, psychological, spiritual well-being, that we all need to apply and get out of the small box that we learned that macrobiotics as a cure-all, with the principles and practices that we've all been kind of attracted to and maybe unfairly attached to, unreasonably attached to, based on the results of the experiment. So Fransje, from the Amsterdam area, if not Amsterdam itself, the center of liberated views as well as Lutheranism and Catholicism. She's broken out of the mold, and she's going to share us her story and some practices that she's learned that have helped improve and evolve her life.
Yeah. Thank you, Lenny and Kinat. And please ask me a question, because I don't never know where to start, you know.
Well, tell us again, like what your life was like, and then how it's evolved since you first discovered macrobiotics and other practices that you have adapted and integrated that have made you feel that your life is turning into a more positive direction.
Oh, yeah. In my case, in my story, in this life, in this body, I first had to almost die when I was 33 years old. And I was working in film business, but karmically, apparently, I also had to take a lot of alcohol and drugs, cocaine. So my body at 8:33, bang, pus was dripping out of my fingers and toes. And I had to go to the hospital, and they gave me some medicine. I think it was penicillin. Penicillin? How do you say that?
Penicillin.
Yeah. And so therefore I stayed alive. And in the 5 weeks in the hospital, something beautiful happened to me one morning. I was touched by a huge ball of light around my bed, and it was light and love. Something I know love also from my childhood, but I also know a lot of not love from my childhood. But this love was, wow, yeah, somewhere, you know, inside. but I experienced it now around me and inside. And then suddenly, looking to the left, I saw a group of light beings. And they were really gentle and, yeah, caring. And with a very beautiful voice, I heard a voice saying, "Do you want to live? Do you want to die?" And wow, my mind was so paranoid from all the abuse that I did with all the drugs and eating. I'm the daughter of the butcher. So I ate everything still. Although when in my 20s, I started to eat less meat, but more fish already. But anyway, in that moment, my soul did scan my whole system, and somehow I was too scared and paranoid to just go with the light. So I wanted to live. And they said, okay, you can live, but then we, suggest you start to go inside and start to feel what is inside, why you live this life so far. And so that was a big message. And then that was happening. Then suddenly my light body is out of this room in Amsterdam, and suddenly I'm in Santa Fe. I've never been in Santa Fe, but my light body knew, hey, I'm in Santa Fe. And I rise up with my light body, and I see all the 50 states of America, but I don't see them geographically, but in energy and color. And then in the far east, north, I think, oh, there is a very gentle violet white light. That's where I have to go for healing. And then I'm suddenly back in my hospital bed. But I had those two wonderful experiences. And 3 years later, life brings me to that spot in the east, north, and I'm staying with Mitchell in Boston. That was the spot that I was shown already in the hospital bed. But how do I get to the macrobiotics and Mitchell? That is, okay, when I come home, I'm still with my boyfriend, and he is Tartarian blood. So his pulses, I have a tiny pulse, but his pulses are big like this, so he can drink, he can still drink because he has bigger bones. And but I started to feel there's such a big difference between what I felt in my heart about light and love and taking drugs or alcohol. So what to do? How can I change my life? So I stopped drinking, but what could come instead of drinking and to heal myself? But I started first crying, and then after a year, my boyfriend said, you start to change so much. Maybe we should split up as a couple. So we split up. And then in my own way, I prayed since that feeling in the hospital from, okay, something has to change in my life, but what and how? And I prayed in my way. And then 18 months later, I'm at a party, and there's a woman. She is very peaceful, and my mind is still like that. So I'm attracted to her, tell her my story, and she says, "Oh, it's so nice, you know. In the morning, I soak my sea vegetables, and I make a nice miso soup." And yeah, she started to talk about macrobiotics, and that she was meditating. And I thought, meditating, I don't have any space somewhere here. It's too occupied here for me to meditate. But something she triggered. And what triggered me most was that finally she said, when I look at your face and I look from the point of view of Eastern diagnosis, wow, your big bags underneath your eyes, maybe your kidneys are not so good. And I looked at her and I felt like, wow, you're not a doctor, but I know you speak the truth. Because the doctor in the hospital, he couldn't tell me anything why I had what I had. But he inspired me to go and look for myself. So my praying after 18 months was answered with this lady with the Eastern diagnosis. And so that evening I left the party and went to a younger brother of me. And his wife had those funny books about ecology and natural healing. And she also had 2 books of Michio, Kushi, and Oshawa. So I take 4 books at home and I start reading the same night from the party. And I cannot stop anymore. And with Oshawa, something started to open up in me. Like universal wisdom or something like that. And then when I read Michio's book, my heart opened up like golden light in my heart. And it was just Michio's energy that I connected to. I was so open still with all, I'm still open, but in those years with all the drugs and alcohol, gee, Michio's energy, really, my heart was golden. And yeah, I really, the next morning, oh yeah, and that same night I was reading 4 books, and I'm not a reader. I really like image and okay, film, stuff like that. But something that night happened. It felt like an opening coming from above into my brain, and it opened up like, I call it the Tao. And I could see that everything is energy, and especially what you put in your own mouth yourself has influence, has energy, and does something. So be very careful and aware what you're putting in yourself. So I know this is the change, the beginning of a big change. Instead of being the daughter of the butcher eating meat, drinking, doing drugs, I thought no more drugs and alcohol for me. So next morning, I opened my cupboard. I emptied all my cupboards, like the cupboards behind Kinath. Empty, empty, empty. And I went to such a funny natural food store. What I always thought that was for the people with the thick goat wool and socks. You know, you have an expression.
That's what the Dutch wear, natural products. Yeah.
And so I started by reading the books. I didn't go to any cooking class. I was too arrogant also. I should do it by myself, study and cook. And people started to worry a lot. I lost 17 kilos in 3 months. But my heart, no, this is it for me. So I could only continue cooking rice and chew, and some recipes with arame and hiziki. Wow, I did my best. But in my heart, I knew this is it for me. So I continued eating. And after a year, what happened after a year? Yeah, also a friend here in Holland, she is in her 80s now, Ineke. She feels now like my older macrobiotic sister. She knew the Kushis. And Ineke also donated lots of money to the Kushis. And so she had a sort of way in and out in the Kushi house. And then we went together to the summer conference in 87. And that was really nice, how do you say that? Coming together with all these macrobiotic people. And for me, it was all new. And there was also Dr. Foot, a Japanese guy who could do your foot massage. And then he could tell who you are as a person. So it was really interesting. And then one day, Ineke takes me into the Brookline Kushi house. And she had been there long before already. And okay, I come in the house, the hallway, and I open the door into the house. And I pick up this energy like what I have felt in big churches sometimes. You have a lot of gentle, peaceful energy. That is how the Kushi house felt for me. And my busy mind, still busy, felt like, this is a good place for me to relax. And a month before, I was in Kiental in Switzerland, and there Micho and Aveline Kushi were there, and Aveline was looking for a new housekeeper. And okay, when I felt the house, I thought, this is my new job. I will be the housekeeper here. And I had also a dream with Micho to become the housekeeper. In my dream, it was really, he was sitting like a Zen master in a wooden temple with nothing in it, just one little chair. And he was sitting on that one chair, and there was a long queue of people, one by one, standing in front of Micho. And then he would look at them and when you never eat cheese, you will be really happy. Or next one, oh, when you never take coffee, you will be great. So I was really wondering, what will he tell me? So it's my turn, and he looks at me and says, you think you can come and clean my house? And I'm like so relieved that he's not saying you cannot eat or drink this or that. No, I thought cleaning a house is so simple for me, because my big job in film was scouting and managing locations. So my hours were always, I was the first on the film set to open up all the gas and electricity or heating or whatever for the actors and all the people, crew people. But I was also the last person to leave the location. Maybe in my life I have picked up 10,000, you know, the ends of cigarettes, how do you call it? Butts?
Butts, yeah.
Butts, to clean, because I always cleaned up a location and left it better than I found it. So I could always come back. So I had, my mind was so scattered from all that working and responsibility. So cleaning a house, asked by Micho Kushi, was, wow, what a relief, what a easy job. So when I stepped with Ineke into the house and I felt that high energy, I felt, this is a place here my body can relax. And
That's
then,
great.
yeah. So then
Wasn't there, can I just interrupt? Wasn't there a macrobiotic center with Adalbert Nelson already active in Amsterdam?
Yeah, but I was so arrogant that the first year, no, I had to do it all myself. I had no idea there was a center. So
Ineke didn't tell you about his work?
no,
or you never met Adalbert and Vika?
Not in the first year. I don't know. Remember when I met Ineke? She was not the biggest friend, by the way, of Adalbert.
I see.
She started to work.
Also, it seems like you have taken your kind of internal life and your dream life and your kind of visions that you've had, and you've had many of them that have informed your everyday life. Is there something in your past that allowed you to believe those dreams and have such vivid dreams and images that you became confident that that would become your reality?
It's only because I feel what feels real to me and good. What feels good, I'm the only one to feel that. So if I feel something is wonderful and perfect and okay now, you can feel it. I can feel it. So, and yeah, I have my daily life, but at night, my consciousness is always going on. I meet more people at night than in the day, you know. Still, sometimes I wake up tired because I had so many meetings at night. But that's part of my life, and that's okay. I don't know better. Yeah.
I mean, this is unusual. I mean, we all have night dreams, sometimes nightmares, sometimes positive, but we often separate those from our day life. It seems that your life has been informed by your visions that come through dreams or other things. And so what is your dream now? Tell us,
The
I
dream
know there's a
now,
whole period from that 1987 to today, but what is your night dream now about how you see the world and your own evolution as well as
yeah,
your social milieu? I mean, like what Ganat introduced us with this violence going on in this small country, and there's violence all over the world now, we know. So how does your nightlife help us to deal with what's your vision?
I share a dream with you I had last December, around December 20. And I don't have a partner for I don't know, decades. But in that dream, somebody is hugging me and we are lying together. And my heart, I felt so much love, but in a different way than when I died 40 years ago. Now I felt it physically. And it was such an opening in this physical body to feel how we are now in these days capable of opening our hearts instead of being here in the head too much. No, let's come down to the heart and see the world from the heart. So I can only send compassion to the world, to the planet, and see peace on the planet, and so it is. That's what I sort of like to radiate into the world. But the person, it was not a person so much that hugged me. It was, I still can't name it, because it was it was not a ghost. It felt so real. The laugh was really, and 4 days later, I'm hit by a car in real life. And my 5 weeks in the hospital are still full with this love from that one dream. So, yeah, I think in my personal development, how I start to see the world now is really like coming from the heart. And I already learned in my healing, I learned a lot in my healing over the 40 years, like explore your mind, like Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, all these people, many therapists helped me to clear and clean my body, but also my mind. And you can do so much to explore your own mind and don't believe every thought. And but now I'm in the level of your consciousness and bring it more to the heart, to whoever. That's my journey now. So it's an individual journey I see for everybody, where we are in our consciousness.
Can I ask something on that note?
Yeah.
This is Anya. I like what you said, but for those of us here in Israel, since October the 7th, nearly 11 months on, well, for me anyway, I feel still in trauma, and it's like everything has changed, and all those ideas of love and peace and what you're talking about seem further away than ever. And I still cannot even take in the situation of those massacres and what is still happening here. So I wonder if you have anything you can say on that subject.
I remember you had a similar question to Via about this. About One Peaceful World, you asked Via also. Yeah, but where's the one?
Yeah, but
But
doesn't really help me. None of it helps me. I mean,
no, I know, but I can only tell from my own personal experience. My life was in hell, especially when I was addicted to all the cocaine and the alcohol. And I only know why was I addicted to those substances, because I didn't dare to go inside and feel the real pain that I was still hiding for myself. And wow, it took many years only after eating macrobiotics and going to therapy and starting with Qigong and stuff like that. After so many years, I was only ready to face my sexual abuse for years when I was a young child. So it's when our consciousness, whenever are we ready to face the pain you feel, we feel, I feel. So
are you saying that the external events that are happening, the pain and suffering going on outside is also a reflection of what's going on inside, and that it's very difficult to change external situations, but to actually focus on internal,
yeah.
that's what you discovered and that's what you've been working on.
Yeah, and that is what we can change. But the external I cannot change. I can only send more love to it and peace. And hopefully that will help also a bit. But I see now for myself that the biggest pain on this planet is that we all forget who we really are. And that is, we are peace inside. We are love. We are light. We are peace. And Mitchell triggered that to me very much so when I was driving him to coffee shops and so. And he triggered me on a day that he was so sad. I had never seen him out of his peaceful being, but now he was sad. And the little girl in me wanted daddy to be happy, so I did my best to get him happy. But no, he couldn't say anything, and he didn't say anything, and he drank his coffee. And after half an hour, he said, "I'm sad." So, okay. Yeah, I do all day long my consultation with all the people. I'm sad. Nobody seems to remember who we really are. And who we really are really triggered something deep in me, because I had forgotten that completely over the years. But he said he put something in me to explore. And it is in everybody. I don't want to play war. Especially now when I know the peace is in here. And the war can be really, I see you, Anja, now sitting peacefully in your room. Is it on your bed or something? Close to your bed, eh? The bed is behind you, yeah. But the war is now in our mind. It's not in your room. So let's explore our mind and our thinking about where we are and what we really are. That is my journey, you know. And I can only speak from my journey. I cannot say, like Rinat says, politics. I cannot say anything about it. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, Fransje, could you tell us a little bit about your journey? You had two, at least what you explained to me, 3 or 4 different journeys after you left the film industry. The first one into this Japanese man's home and his teachings. How did that impact your life and your ability to find a more balanced, stable point of view? And then, as you mentioned, that you saw that there was some limitation in terms of the emotional, psychological development, and you searched and found yet another teacher. Could you tell us a little bit about those paths?
Lenny, what was the first name you mentioned? From which teacher?
Well, from this Japanese man, Michio Kushi. You discovered discovered him and what he was teaching, as well as his being and how it affected you on the physical side.
So that first night, his energy really opened my heart into a golden light when I checked in with him. So that was number one. So then I had this dream where he asked me, "Can you come and clean my house?" And reading his books, I did it on my own, but it made such sense. And with working so hard as I did, I was hungry for real information, for real universal information. And that's what I got from his books. Talking about spirals, talking about what you eat and what you dream. And wow, I was so hungry for all this information. So the first books of Mitchell, I loved them. And yeah, when I met Mitchell, the first time I saw him really in Boston, he was coming from upper stairs, but I only saw him from the back. But his energy, I can sense so easy energy. And yeah, peaceful. Maybe I realized lately, oh, maybe we come from the same star, you know, with golden light. Who knows? Maybe all of us, who knows? But being in the house, yeah, Mitchell was very respected, living in the Cushy house. But there was never really, there was always people from all over the planet invited by Mitchell to stay in the Cushy house. And I had to take care of clean beds and clean rooms, etc. Flour in the house. But with the family who lived there and the volunteers that lived there was never really very personal, emotional talks. Never. And I was still sitting on my secrets I didn't even realize, but I felt so horrible. So only one time Donna Cohen, she once, just by passing by, she said, maybe you should cry a bit. That was the only suggestion she once had. And but to me, it was to be in that energy of Mitchell and the house. For me, it was such a relief for my body and to relax. And after I was already 3 years eating very macrobiotic, but living in the house there that year, I felt suddenly all my body was taking it in. The cells were adjusting in a good way to the new food that I was eating before. The daughter of the butcher, meat every day. We didn't have much dairy when I was young because we had meat always. Only on Friday as Catholics we had some cheese in the house. Okay, we drank milk. But my body could relax in that Cushy house in 1987, 88. Yeah.
So the food was it part of it, or what was what did macrobiotics mean to you at that time?
Knowing that it will fit me, really sort of inside knowing this is for me instead of eating meat or whatever. I know it was for me. And despite that I was losing so much weight in a few months, people worrying, my heart, no, this is okay for me. But I was totally willing to feel whatever in the process. If I had known before what I had to feel and face in those years, I don't know if I would have chosen to stay alive 40 years ago, because it was hell that I went through. But now I'm here and now I'm happy, and I'm happy that you can experience so much in one body, in one life. And now I can talk about it in a happy way, and that's my story now.
So at some point you said that you felt that there was a lack of emotional expression. So you did find yet another teacher. That was the other part of my question. So your journey took you past the core of the macrobiotic teaching, and it led you somewhere else. Tell us about where you ended when you went next.
Again, I mentioned Donna Cohen, the secretary of Mitchell, and she was always very private. She was working really hard for Mitchell in the office, but one day she invited me for a cup of tea in her room. Wow, and I was really impressed that she did that. And then she was called away for a phone call. So while waiting, I go through her bookshelves, and then I see a book, Transforming Your Female Sexual Energy. And I'm triggered right away. And then I open up the book and I see a drawing of a vagina. And in the vagina, they have a jade pearl. And even two. And I felt like, oh, that triggers really ancient qualities that we have as women, to play with jade eggs in your vagina. So it was really triggering something to want to know more about it. So I started to buy more books of, the writer was Mantak Chia, and he is the teacher in energy work and inner alchemy. And he came from China as one of the first Eastern teachers to, in this case, to New York. And he started to teach in Chinatown. But Michael Wynn was one of his students, and Juan Li. And they started to write his books and to illustrate his books. And but yeah, first in America, I had a student teacher from Mantak Chia. And then when I came back to Holland, he came. I see my light, hè? Is it okay? Yeah, he became another teacher for me, because I wasn't yet even aware of my sexual abuse, but I felt he was safe as a teacher for me, working with sexual energy. And still, I really enjoy him as one of my teachers. Doing your
Mantak? You mean
Yeah,
Mantak?
Mantak Chia, yeah. So yeah, and then from there on, I maybe have a book with in my life altogether maybe 75 teachers, therapists, whatever. I was so scattered when I was 40 years ago, so I needed so much mirrors to get me back to myself. And I was so willing to feel, and yeah, the longing was so deep to have more of that light, what was shown to me in my heart. And yeah, step by step.
Did Mantak support the macrobiotic approach, and what was the impact on your emotional life through his studies with him?
Oh, because he really respects macrobiotics. And one day I even invited Via Kushi to come to a seminar with Mantak Chia. So I introduced the two of them together, and Mantak, when I always bring my own food, he always really respects that, no problem. And I haven't been myself in Thailand in his big, how do you say that?
Center,
Yeah. But I always hear that the food is really good there as well. And for many different mouths, for whoever wants to eat, there's something there. Yeah. And
I think the publisher of Mantak's books was also the publisher of Sugar Blues, and I understood that you are friends with the author of Sugar Blues and You Are All Sampaku,
yeah,
William Dufty.
yeah, Bill, I wanted to marry him.
He married Gloria Swanson instead.
Yeah, she was already out of his life.
Oh,
And then Mark Hammond was also a good friend of Bill Dufty. And they stayed sometimes together also in the Kushi house. And they came along to a summer camp. And I told Bill that I wanted to marry him. But I think I was 37 and he was 73. But he felt so close by, such a beautiful soul. So I felt open to say that to him. And then he had this cute answer. He said, no, I'm not going to marry. That costs too much money, because his divorce with Gloria Swanson apparently cost him a lot of money. So he said, I'm not going to marry again.
Yeah, he was close with Mark Hammond. I know they traveled together, but
Yeah.
well, tell us. You mentioned that you learned from Mantak Chia something about emotional
Yeah.
development, and you were going to teach us something in this session.
Yeah, I will.
that may help Anya with her question as well as all of us
Yeah,
with
let's do that. I share what I really enjoy from the macrobiotics is you learn about your body and you learn about your different organs, and that your different organs are connected to different feelings, positive and negative, and you can cook for them with the sour for your liver, with the bitter for your heart, etc. But with Mantak he dives into your organs, and you really start to meditate and feel them and see, can you feel your liver? Can you really talk to your liver and feel, what do you need now? How are your kidneys? Is your left kidney different than your right kidney? Feel and talk with them, ride with them. So that's what I really learned from Mantak and the orbit. And to me, over the years, chewing the good food and doing, say, the orbit, what I learned from Mantak the orbit, say, heaven and earth through your body, spiraling. Over the years, I felt like, whoa, before my life was so restricted. And now I started to feel the heavens were opening up. The universe was opening up in a very natural way, just by good food and doing some inner alchemy. So, and learning, yeah, over the years, learning, daring to feel what's happening in your body. Yeah, I mentioned, you said, let's do something, eh?
Yeah, you can teach us because it's very experiential, I think, what you learned. It's not just the theory. And with macrobiotics, it's the diet, maybe it's massage, maybe it's exercise.
Yeah.
Mantak Chia also was teaching other things that were experiential, besides sexual things.
Yeah. And the sexual things to me were so safe because it had never anything to do with any, you say it?
Abuse?
Yeah. When, okay, when two people and when there's sexual attraction, when you get, say, horny, I don't know a better word, but the Mantak teachings, meditations never has to do with that horny feeling. It's just your pure life essence, sexual energy. So it felt always very safe to me to work with that. And with over the years, with all the different teachers and the meditations going inside, I'm not sure if I made it my own, but I call it the golden triangle. And in the years that I was still into dope, when I was in Bali, I wanted to go to the golden triangle across the Mekong River, and because there was all the opium coming from, and they called it the golden triangle. But now what I want to do with you is the golden triangle inside of us. So let's do that if we want to.
Please.
Yeah, okay. So how is everybody? Sitting, lying, sitting? Yeah. Are we ready to do some moving?
Practice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't want to do too much practice like shaking, but what we can do is I put my chair a little backwards because then it's very nice for the spine to have a flexible spine, because all your vertebrae are connected to all your organs and the whole body. So if you have a little space and when you come forward, that you don't hit your head to the table, because if you can sit as straight as possible and then slowly bring your chin as far as you can forward, and then we're going to make a circle all the way down. Your knee, your chin goes between your knees, and then you slowly come up back again. Spinal cord breathing. So slowly, slowly, slowly forward. Yeah. And when you come up, one by one, feel all the vertebrae adjusting again to become straight again. Usually I do like 9 times. And then the last one. And just for fun, let's do 3 times the other way. So you start with your chin first going down across your body and slowly come up to the front. A totally different feeling for me always. Yeah, last time. Okay. Now let's just follow me, yeah? Rub your hands, both of your hands. Get them really warm. So energy is really building up there. And now bring those 2 hands and put them on your eyes. And radiate into the eyeballs. Your eyeballs contain 60% of your physical body in energy. So radiate into your eyeballs and be aware of the rest of your face. How is your mouth? Feel your mouth and your lips. And while still keeping your hands on your eyeballs, 1 millimeter on the left and right side, lift up the corners of your mouth and see what happens. And put them down again and see the difference from lifting up the corners of your mouth or not. And it's just a tiny bit, a millimeter is enough. And maybe you can give a word to what happens when you shift the corners of your mouth and where do you feel the effect? You can, if you want, take your hands from your eyes, put them in your lap. But when I shift the corners of my mouth, I really feel, when I go take them up, I feel my eyeballs, my eyes relax. When I put them down, feel the difference. When I put them up, I not only feel the relaxation in my eyeballs, but also in my brain. Put them down again. And once more, take your corners of the mouth up. And where else can you feel it? In your eyes, in your brain, in your face. And I start to feel something really lovely softly in my heart area. With the two corners of the mouth. When you are in the street, it's so nice to lift them. Nobody has to notice it, but you feel the difference, and you will see that people are starting to look at you different. When I'm on the bicycle and I have this up, everybody on the bicycle, they want to greet me, you know? It's very, can you feel the difference when you have them a tiny bit up, tiny bit down, or not, just straight? Can you feel it? Yes or no? I don't know. No reaction. I see a big smile. See a big smile. Okay. Then let's continue. So this is part of the inner smile. When you know about the corners of your mouth, it triggers 100 of muscles in your cheeks. And also it brings all these muscles in your face to your brain. And when you're with your middle finger, spiral a little bit on your between the eyebrows, the mid eyebrow, smile. Get your finger away and now breathe in a beautiful pillar of white light into your mid eyebrow, into your brain, and bring it to all these beautiful glands in your brain, and especially the pineal,
Pineal.
yeah. See if your corners of your mouth are still a little bit up or not. And notice every time when you think about it, oh yeah, I can do them up, and I smile. And feel the difference in energy. Very gentle, but it's a real big difference. Feel the pineal in the center of your brain. And the light in the brain, we slowly can guide it with our hands down to our heart. So feel energy coming to your physical heart and smile into your physical heart. And when you have a smile in your physical heart, you can always connect to the beautiful feelings of love and joy and gratitude in your heart. And then we go with the inner smile, with our inner eyes. That's what they call the mind-eye power. Dus you use your inner eyes connected to your mind, your inner mind, your mind-eye power. Dus with your mind-eye power, we go now from the physical heart with your smile to the next organ, and that is your spleen and pancreas. With a beautiful, warm, golden color. Smile into the spleen pancreas. And the beautiful feeling there is trust. A really nice feeling of trust. And in the creative circle of all the organs, then we go to the lungs. So go with your inner mind-eye power, with your inner eyes and your smile, go to the lungs and fill your lungs on the front, in the back, on the side, inside, and it is connected to a white color. And the beautiful positive feeling of the lungs is courage and a feeling of justice. Feel the courage from your lungs. Smile in your lungs. And And from the lungs, we go to the kidneys. So maybe you can put both your hands on the left and the right kidney. And bring your smile with your mind-eye power, with your eyes into your kidneys. See if your left or right kidney are a little different, maybe in energy. And it's connected to a beautiful dark blue color. And the positive feeling is a feeling of gentleness and wisdom, softness. And to complete this circle of the 5 organs, we go now to the liver, and they are on the right side under your lower rib cage. And the liver is your biggest organ connected to your gallbladder. And is connected to a spring green color. Smile into this spring green color of your liver. And feel the wonderful feeling of kindness. And now I ask you to bring your hands sort of like an open lotus flower in front of your heart, but not your physical heart. It's the heart, what I call the big heart, below your breastbone, or somewhere there's your big heart. Underneath, to the right side of your breastbone, there's a point, a portal. And if you go in there, then behind the breastbone, there's this beautiful big heart of compassion. And the big heart of compassion is really working wonderful when all these 5 organs work together. So when we work with the red from the heart, with the deep yellow from the spleen, the white of the lungs, the blue of the kidneys, and the green of the liver. And when you see all these beautiful qualities of all these organs, like the love and joy of your heart and the gratitude, your courage, your trust, your gentleness, your kindness, all these qualities together, that is the ingredients for your compassion heart. So feel your compassion heart in your hands, before your heart. Feel the energy of your compassion. Smile. Corners of your mouth lift up. Feel the compassion. And now we're going to reach out with our hands. Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but keep your hands next to you. Maybe have a look at me where I have my hands on it. It's like not there, but like where your waist is. And start to breathe now with the palms of your hand, breathing in and out with the universal energy. Do it with your inner smile, with your mind-eye power, and feel what is happening in the palms of your hand when you breathe in very slowly, the universal loving energy. Frans-ye has learned over the years, with a lot of tests they have also done in Switzerland, that the universal overall energy is a white violet energy. Sometimes with light white, sometimes a little darker violet. But breathe in with this violet light energy and feel it entering your hand palms. Like you carry the violet light, purple energy, universal energy. Breathe in and breathe out with your hand palms of your hand. Start to feel it. When you feel it, now slowly return the palms down, facing to Mother Earth. You can lower your hands a little bit, and now spiral your hands towards Mother Earth's energy. Start to see if you can feel Mother Earth's energy, feeling in the palm, in the center of the palms of your hands. And sometimes it helps to feel it when you squeeze your perineum. You know, the perineum is between your anus and your sexual phallus organ. So when you squeeze the bottom of your perineum and you let go again, but then you can even more feel the center of your hand palms, connecting in spiraling ways with Mother Earth's energy. And go down to Mother Earth. Feel Mother Earth and feel in Mother Earth is also total new universal energy. But feel Mother Earth in your hand palms. So squeeze again your perineum and feel the center of your hand palms. And now squeeze again and feel so also in the center of your feet, there's also a point, what they call the bubbling fountain. When you squeeze, you can feel that point. You have your toes, and then there are two kind of pillows, and then a point there in the center of your foot. Kidney point 1, I think they call it. But that's the point where, like a bubbling fountain, Mother Earth's energy can come in your body through the feet. Smile. Squeeze your perineum. Feel the energy in your hand palms and feel the energy from the bubbling fountain in your feet. And Mother Earth's energy coming in. Smile, squeeze sometimes and let go. Don't keep squeezing, but the squeezing helps. So when we squeeze now, we are connected to the hand palms and the bubbling fountain in the feet, of the soles of the feet. Now we squeeze again, and then totally opposite from the perineum, we go to the head, to the crown. And see if you can now feel also your crown tingling. When you squeeze your perineum, feel the crown also tingling. The place where the universal energy really easy can come in. So now when we squeeze, we feel the hand palms, we feel the soles of the feet, we feel the crown. We squeeze one more with the perineum, and then now feel the mid-eyebrow also connected. Smile, squeeze, and see if you can focus on the mid-eyebrow. You can feel it as a portal opening up even more. And now you can put your hands in your lap if you want. And then we go back again to the perineum and we squeeze. And now in your navel in front, we place a golden pearl. So in your navel, there's a golden pearl. And like Mother Earth is really spinning around, this pearl in your navel is also spinning around. And see it's, you smile and see how you enjoy it, that the pearl is really spinning around in your navel. Start to feel the energy of this spinning golden pearl in your navel. Squeeze and feel all the points still in your hand palms, your bubbling spring in the soles of the feet, your crown, your mid eyebrow, and now your golden pearl. And from the golden pearl in the navel, we make now a straight line to the back in your spine, and opposite your navel, there is a spot they call the Ming Men, and it's the portal of life, the gate of heaven. And there we put also a golden pearl, and the golden pearl there is also spinning, 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 spinning. Let it spin, 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 and feel the energy, getting it warm in the Ming Men. And use your mind-eye power to make your golden pearls spin, 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 spin. Now, on the bottom where the perineum is, inside we place our third golden pearl. So on the bottom of the perineum, inside the golden pearl we put there, and it starts to spin as well. Squeeze your perineum and feel the golden pearl in the perineum also spin, spin, spin. Feel it spinning, and it's spinning like the golden pearl in your navel and the golden pearl in the Ming Men, in the back. And now on the bottom of your perineum, feel the golden pearl spinning, 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 spinning. Squeeze. And now we draw a golden line from the golden pearl on the perineum to the pearl in the navel, and from the golden pearl in the navel we draw a golden line to the pearl in the back to the Ming Men, and the third golden line we draw from the Ming Men pearl to the pearl on the bottom of the perineum. So we have like a golden triangle. And now we're going to look for something inside the golden triangle. So squeeze the perineum and now go inside the golden triangle. And it's really try with all the guts you have, go inside, look inside, and it's a little bit more backwards to your spine, to your sacrum. And see if you can find a spot there, and you exactly know the spot that we want to find, because the doctor cannot find it. He can find all your organs, all your whatever, but this spot you only know where it is. So squeeze the perineum, and inside the golden triangle, see if you can find your spot. And it is a spot, in case you find it, you know, oh, I know, this is it. Suddenly you're there and you know, oh, this is it. And you also know, oh, has it always been there? Or did I forget about it? Or what is it? What kind of spot is it? Maybe it was there all along and you never found it before. But if you know now the spot exactly where it is, place there now your favorite color pearl. So your own pearl on that spot. Maybe any color. That's your favorite color. And feel your smiling connection between you with your smiling eyes and the beautiful pearl inside your golden triangle. How is your breathing? How is your smiling? How do you feel? I hope you will all find your own spot and your own beautiful pearl. And when we are going to finish now, put your hands again together. Rub a little bit. Put them again on your eyeball. And all the energy in your hands, put it over your face like a makeup. Beautiful energy over your hair. You could tap into your skull to keep all the energy that we generated, to keep it inside, with close with you. And I always like to tap with my body to keep all the energy with me. On the arms. Breast, the back. Even if you want to stand up, you can tap your bum, your thighs, your cow, your feet. So any energy doesn't get lost, and always connected to your lower dantian, to your lower belly, because that's the place to store your energy. I'm just curious to the colors of your pearl, if you found your pearl.
Well, thank you, Fransje. That was a very insightful experience, I think, for all of us. And yeah, if people would like to share something about their experience or the color of that pearl that they found, and talk about what this practice, what it meant to them, what they discovered. I don't know if there's anybody who feels energized or fatigued or
Peaceful.
open-hearted, peaceful, energized. Could we, Clara, is she here to, she's not here, or is she?
No, she's here.
Oh, okay,
She's
she
here.
can allow people who, if they want to, oh, I see, Clara, sorry. Offer any comments?
Yeah, no, Clara doesn't have to. She can, people can unmute themselves.
Oh,
I'd
okay.
like to say for me, the color of this beautiful pearl was like a soft green at the bottom, and then developing into a deeper forest green. It was a very nice kind of completion feeling that I had. Thank you so much.
I see it in your smile, how beautiful it is. And you know, the nice thing is that since there's so much energy in our eyeballs, it's for 24/7, with our mind-eye power, we can keep a line connected to the pearl inside the golden triangle all day long, 24/7. You can keep it connected.
How much do you remember to do this, or not remember, but
I'm addicted to it. Yeah, I always had addictions in my life, but this is my addiction now. Because especially in chaotic times, it's so nice to you can stay close to yourself. And when Mitchell said, I'm sad because nobody seems to remember who we really are. I feel when I'm there in that peaceful situation, that's my one peaceful world inside there.
So there's the question, Franja, about as we talked about the external world that's filled with conflict and terror and anxiety, and then we can find a way to become inner resolved and calm and peaceful. And some people feel like, oh, how can you give up your actions to the world and just focus on yourself? And yes, I can make myself calm in the face of trouble, but how do I engage? What do I do? And so there's some challenges. I don't know if Anya would say, but I know that there's a movement called Engaged Buddhism, where there's more activism, and we take this calmness like Thich Nhat Hanh and approach the world trying to maintain calmness, but not avoiding the conflict. And other people say, well, no, we're not going to help the conflict. We need to help ourselves. I don't know if anybody wants to share their insights, or Anya or Franja, just about this kind of it's a dialectic. It's a polarization between my inner peace and the external unpeace, violence, aggression. If we could let anyone else speak also, but in addition to Franja, I don't know if Anya wants to say anything.
Anya, what did you feel? Can I ask?
Yeah, I mean, it did feel very good and peaceful and beautiful, but yeah, it's something I need to work on. I don't know if it's like the complete answer, because what about what other people are going through? That's my issue, is
And when I
feeling
see
other people suffering too much.
Yeah, when I see you answering this, there's a peaceful part in you, and then the but comes. And with
Right.
but,
Yeah.
we take ourselves straight away out of our peace. And when I'm peaceful, I think it has an effect on the collective. But
Sure.
when I go to the but, I take out part of the peace already. So it's really being aware of all the thoughts. I like Byron Katie. She has this wonderful book, 1,000 Names for Joy. I can read it. I'm not a book reader, but her book every night, 1 or 2 pages. For years I do it. And she doesn't leave any of her thoughts. So yeah, it's a choice in our consciousness. Yeah.
What's the name of that book?
1,000 Names for Joy. 1,000 Names for Joy. And it's interesting because, do you know Byron Katie? Do you? Yeah. And she used to be a fat American lady, alcoholic, 3 children. I think she was selling houses, but wow, she was so depressed. And then, wow, she has to leave the house and go into a retreat center for alcoholics or whatever people. And then she is so feeling bad about herself that she doesn't allow herself even to sleep on the bed. So she sleeps on the stone floor because she's not worth it, She's really the victim, die hard, sleeping on the floor. And then one day she's lying there on the floor and she is, wow, what's happening on my toe, on my foot? And whoa, she's totally in focus. And then she sees a cockroach going over her toes. And she's totally into that focus on looking at that cockroach on her foot. And then boom, she falls into her real self. And a while later, she gets up and thinks, this is me. What do I do in this room? How did I get here? And she, from that moment on, she's always her true self. One of the only people I know on this planet nowadays. And so she can go home. After 2 weeks, her husband says, I don't like it anymore. You used to love me, now you love everybody. So I want a divorce. So they divorce. And then existence brings, I don't know after how much time, Stephen Mitchell. Existence brings Stephen Mitchell in touch with Byron Katie. And Stephen Mitchell is an American guy, and he studies Chinese because he wants to translate the I Ching. And then he meets Byron Katie. So he is doing all his hard work and he's translating 81 chapters of the I Ching. And then he has the luminous idea from, oh, let me see after each chapter that I translate, what thinks Byron Katie of my translation? And that is this little book about 1,000 Names for Joy. So she gives comments on the 81 chapters that he is translating. So he is doing the hard work learning Chinese. And she never read a spiritual book in her life. But the cockroach, boom, did make her fall into her true self. So, and that book is really, she really reminds me of our true self, which is joy, which is light and fun. But I think in our infinite journeys in different bodies and lives, we had all our desires that took us away from our true self. And I think karmically in this life, in these enormous light experiences we can have now with the extra sun rays and extra sun consciousness coming in, so many karmic lives we can dissolve in this one life. It's amazing. So let's enjoy. I
That's
know
a nice feeling.
but now let's enjoy, and enjoy especially this moment.
It was the Tao Te Ching, by the way, not the I Ching.
Yeah.
Tao Te Ching, that Lao Tzu's masterpiece.
Yeah. The 81, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the two of them have made a very dynamic couple, and he continues to do translations. Homer and the Odyssey, and the Iliad. He's done so much positive work, as does she. And thank you for introducing that book. Thank you for introducing that practice. Gnat, do you have questions for Fransje or anyone else?
I have a question. Yeah, anybody else is great. I do have my own question, Fransje.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank you for inviting
your
us.
teaching. Well, thank you for your teaching. There's something very special. My question is, do you have any regrets that you chose such a difficult life this time? And do you think you needed that difficulty in order for the big awakening? Could you have done it in a softer way?
No. I really feel that every moment I had to be part of it. And sometimes I heard myself say about these traveling years with lots of parties and dancing all night and then sleeping 3 hours and going to film again with a hangover, etc. But I wouldn't have liked to have missed one single bit of it. It's totally my purpose for this life. I don't know. I take total responsibility, or yeah.
Do you believe that big change requires big suffering? Are they related?
Sorry, will you say that again?
Do you believe that big change requires big suffering?
No, not necessarily. No, it really depends, because sometimes I meet people and they seem to go through life so easy. so joyful and easy. And they are born in a family with lots of love already. And they can have also big changes. No, not necessarily. I don't think
Good
so.
to know. Good to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
Aaron, did you have a question? Aaron Shinhao. Aaron? No, I guess not. Anyone else? Aaron.
To answer the question of Leonard, now we are losing so much things. And behind that, I try to detach myself of what I am losing, not to be lost with what I am losing. It is more easy, it is easier to do when we are no more in the active life. But it's easier to do. When we are in the active life, we have to commit ourselves, we have to engage ourselves. But it's important not to be lost with what we are losing. I think the good emotion for me, the most acceptable emotion for me is the sadness. I know that probably I will die with sadness, sadness to leave this world. But I know that I will not be angry, because now I straighten, I wish not to be angry. It is a everyday life. Wow, for me, it's a everyday life application, not to be angry, not to be spiteful, not to be amer. So there is it in our inside of ourselves. There is a life. There is a very interesting life that is often very most interesting that in the exterior world. It's not we continue to be present to the exterior events, but we try not to be attracted by them. We try to keep our soul quiet, and it's not easy. I recognize it's not easy, but it's the true. I think it's the true work. The true work. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And when you started that you are sad about what we may lose, I also feel the new times are also already starting in. And new times, nobody knows exactly, but I feel there will still be a lot of chaos coming in, happening on the planet, maybe even in November. Maybe February already is more peaceful. But I also feel in the new times, wow, it is, nobody knows exactly. But I feel in the new times, there will be so much joy and peace and money equal for everybody, and almost like in paradise. What you ever always wonder. What I feel is the planet is so beautiful. It's meant to be beautiful, but there are some energies they don't want. There is God and there is Satan. And Satan is very strong and it's working out now. But after the chaos, I think the beautiful world is there also. So let's be peaceful and welcome it. Yeah.
Fransje.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say one more time that we appreciate your honest stories. I know you have many more to share, and we hope that in the future we'll have an opportunity to delve more deeply into some of the lessons that you learned from both macrobiotics as well as Mantak Chia's work and Michael Wynn and so forth. But we appreciate the effort that you've applied to yourself in your own personal transformation, and we're feeling the effect of your personal growth in our own life in the same way that, as you say, our personal transformations can affect the world.
Absolutely.
So,
I would like to add, yeah,
yeah,
I'd like to
Go
add
ahead.
something. Lenny, I would like to relate to your question. Earlier, you said,
yes,
what happened to you based on the inner triangle and the inner feeling versus what's happening out in the world? And I want to tell you about my own experience or conflict or internal debate. I feel that I can reach some level of calmness and quietness and peaceful inside my own world. Things are working well, thank God, better than before, and hopefully in the future. But what's happening in the outer world is very troubling. And that mixed up in me a feeling of unrest. And the unrest is that when things happening in the world, I have, in my mind, my small mind, I have some solutions. I figure out solutions to the answers. And it's very nice that I have answers, but how can I impact? But it's troubling me that the solutions don't come up. And what can I do? And it's on two levels. I'm an Israeli, and things in Israel are troubling very much everybody, including myself, my friends, my family. And I think I have solutions, but who am I to offer solutions? I'm not in the government, I'm not in any position and stuff. And also in the global world, what's happening in the world, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in America. So I cannot find peace, just my own peace. This is a conflict that's ongoing. I don't know if you can relate to this or
Sure.
you found something similar. I would like to hear your opinion.
Yeah, I know it's
Yeah.
all happening. Yeah. Who is Lenny?
Aaron.
Oh, well, I think all of us can answer, but I agree completely, and I know that there's been always this conflict between the engaged individuals, engaged whether it's through a spiritual practice or just through a political orientation, and those people who say, no, I can go on a retreat and I'll make myself happy, I'll make myself peaceful, I'll feeling love for all humanity, while around us people are killing each other and dying of terrible diseases and starvation. And I mean, but I think ultimately we have to say this polarization in our minds is exactly what macrobiotic teachings is about, is yin and yang, is there are two sides to this oneness. And it is in our minds kind of anxiety, tension, and also calmness. And in the world, it's an expression of that. And so in a way, if we say the world is a projection of our minds, that is the biggest challenge for us, is to unify those polarized feelings, unify the polarized people, unify, hold it together and hold it as one. That's the hardest thing we can do. It's the biggest challenge. And it's the opportunity for humanity to evolve. And it is an opportunity for us as humans to evolve our consciousness beyond this dialectic, dualistic, polarized point of view. But it exists. There's no question about it. That's my point of view. It's not either or, it's both and.
Yeah. And Aaron, when you shared this, long time ago, and sometimes lately, I have a sort idea of to make a documentary or a movie, and like you have your answers to get peace in the world, right? I would
I think
film.
so. I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
So I would film you as one of the participants, but then I ask your neighbor, and I think more and more that everybody has a way to find peace for the world. If everybody does like this, this, and this, then there is world peace. So I see this documentary where everybody in his own glory feels like, yeah, but if everybody does this, then there is peace. So,
But what about evil though? That evil does exist, and I don't think you can just love evil and then it's going to just all be okay. I think this is what we're up against. I don't understand how you can do that.
they say, I don't know, Aya, but they say that the dark doesn't like the light, right? It bounces off. And you have such a beautiful smile, so keep smiling. Keep smiling. You have such a beautiful smile. Yeah.
It is our life, though. It's our life challenge. You know, it's like the Zen koan. Is there an answer to this unanswerable question? And we're all working together.
The most beautiful sentence from Michio Kushi for me is, in our endless dream, so it's infinite, and it is a dream, in our endless dream to one peaceful world, we are always together. So it says so much. It's infinite. It's a dream. Is this moment also a dream? So in our endless dream to one peaceful world, is it a dream to get to one peaceful world? But we are together, always. We are always together. And sometimes we are the Satan ourselves, and sometimes we are love, and sometimes we are all these different things we want to experience also as a soul. So, like, I have a funny example. I'm once told, and it totally touched my heart, that when we come from source, there's not even male or female, but when there's this first tendency to want to be in a body and have more experiences, then in the first moment there's male female, then it's still very angelic level, very high frequency, and then you can choose come in later in the physical body. They told me from this source splitting male female, and I'm a male angel, but in this life I did choose a female body to get my biggest lessons. So there is so many layers to look at, so many, and to me it totally feels right that I'm a male angel in a physical body. And wow, I did choose a family. I did explore all the abuse you can have as a woman. I did it all. So that is my consciousness, my soul wanting to have my lessons. And my mother, she died now about 8 years ago, 2016, yeah. And my father already died young, but my mother, whoa, she was a difficult example for me as a child, as a young girl, to have as a mother, because when I was 7, in a very Catholic surrounding, she started to have sex with a young priest, a Catholic priest. And he became our house friend. And my father and mother didn't realize that he was, as a house friend, abusing all the children. So my mother, and they stick together, the priest and my mom, 55 years. So I have a funny example about being a female in a body when you have an example like a mother like this. But now when I think of my mom, it could not have been anybody else from all the 4 billion ladies on the planet. She had to be my mom. And I'm so grateful and thankful. So we go through all these insights and phases in our times, in our lives.
That's amazing, Fransje. That's really...
I'm amazed too that what I can experience in one life, in one body. And I'm really happy to share it. And because I notice I'm totally at ease with sharing my story, just to say, wow, have the guts to feel everything. And what is your goal? What do you want to experience? Where do you want to go to? Is it one peaceful world, or is that boring to you? Do you want to experience something else, a little bit more exciting? So it doesn't matter in infinity, you know. You cannot get broken. How do you say that? The real you is always wonderful. The real you. Last time, Lenny, when we talked, we had a nice, that I said, the miracle of this moment, something like that. Eh?
Right,
This moment
right.
is this moment. Yeah.
Right.
This is really divine miracle moment. Really, every moment is a divine moment.
You know, every Shabbat, every Sabbath, the Jews read a portion of the Torah, the Bible. And this past one, today is Sunday, so the yesterday's one was a portion that's called see. The name of the portion, the first word is ra'eh, means see. So it's interesting, like open your eyes, see, look, see what it is. And then there's commandment. All the commandments are finished already. This is like the last book of the Torah, and like we're getting ready, and Moses is like looking over the promised land. And there's one more commandment, and that commandment is to feel or be happy. How can you command someone to be happy? I mean, that's the first question. And then the next question is, why happiness? Because kind of in my circles, we always talk about the highest value is love, that I am love, and I cultivate love, and I do my best. And yet this is not love each other. That already was. This one is be happy, find happiness, find your happiness, see your happiness.
Beautiful. You look very happy when you say all this. Yeah. How is Anja? Anja with the beautiful smile. And how is Jacob? How are you?
Who is Jacob? Me?
That's you.
No. There's this Jacob at Hof.
Who's that?
Lithoff.
Oh, Litav. Yeah, Jacob.
That's the one I see.
Yeah.
Unmute, Jacob, unmute.
Oh yeah. Hey, Clara. Good to hear your voice.
I have to leave us this morning, this afternoon. And but nobody else has to leave unless it's their time. But I appreciate, again, Franja and Ganats, again, hosting this wonderful opportunity for us all to be together and to share some inspiring and insightful stories. And I look forward to our next month's, but so long for now.
Yeah.
But
And
no one
Lenny-
else has to leave.
Lenny,
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Lenny.
Lenny, I have one more thing to say about the Cushy house and the emotion.
Okay,
You know who was the most emotional person in the house, but never
Mrs.
showing
Cushy.
it? Fia.
Well, Mrs. Aveline was also.
Yeah. No, not so much, but she didn't show.
Well, yeah, she didn't show.
Yeah. But Fia, once he was living on the attic floor, and
Yeah.
one he was playing the piano, and it felt so emotional. It was so beautiful. It felt like a water fountain coming down the stairs. So beautiful. That was the most emotional.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, until next time.
Thank you. Be in touch. Yeah. Becky.
Did you?
Jacob.
Yeah, I was just starting to look for that book you'd mentioned about 1,000 Names for Joy.
Yeah.
But I like very much what you said, and I agree. There's always a balance between the good and the evil. And when I became macrobiotic back in 1978, I started feeling like I wasn't like anybody else anymore. I felt like I'd just been dropped here on this planet. And I kept seeing all these horrible things going on and all of my friends going through all these troubles. And I had troubles I was trying to get over too. And I kept looking for more and more answers. And I keep finding more and more. And I keep finding more and more joy in my soul. I mean, when I was young, I had seizures all the time. And somehow I got to getting a degree at Boston University in music. And I had some great jobs I got at the beginning, but I lost them all because of some seizures I had. And at that time, I had trouble expressing my feeling and my joy in my music. I could play the notes wonderfully. And so on my macrobiotics, I worked for years trying to find ways to help my heart, ways to help my brain. And I found great results. And I found some cures outside of Western medicine that seemed to be solving all my problems. And I had a cyst taken out of my head in 1988 that made me so much more in control of myself too. And I think we have, I like what, not Kushi, but his teacher said how, yeah, there's 7 levels of existence. And the 7th level, we have to look at everything as good. If we can get to the 7th level of joy, we'll see everything as good. So even when I have a bad day or something doesn't work out right, I try to find it a good way of looking at it. And I've tried to get rid of all that anger inside myself. And I still have times, you know, when I want to take a sledgehammer sometimes and chop my computer. But I try to get over those quickly. And, you know, when I had some quartet rehearsal with some people, you know, we started playing together more this last couple of years. And this one couple, the lady and the guy, all of a sudden started getting angry and yelling at me. And I just sort of stood there calmly and tried to resolve it. And finally we went back to everything. And I think they felt shocked that here they could get angry at me and I just sit there and be peaceful. I didn't fight back. And I don't know, I find there's many ways where we have to try to find our own peace. And I find many friends who are going through lots of problems right now, all sorts of health problems. And most of them, I've tried to suggest a healthy diet to them for decades now. Most of them are never interested. Occasionally I'll find somebody who starts to enjoy it. And I think it's also something we have to find for ourselves. If those of us who can find a nice, healthy diet can find a nice, healthy, happy, peaceful life, they'll get over those things. And if I can somehow, I almost gave up trying to teach people because nobody ever wanted to learn. but I feel if I can just try to work on myself, then maybe other people will see something in me and will want to ask me for help. And sometimes people do now. So I don't know. As far as what's going on in Israel and the world, I mean, I don't live in Israel. I'm here in the United States, but I feel the same thing is coming here with all the horrible immigrants we're getting. But I think that I don't know how much it has to do with it, but I think we have to find to live without being too demanding of the planet Earth. And those of us who live on a macrobiotic life take much less land to get our food, and I think those of us who who are most demanding of the world for all the things they want will have much more troubles in their life. And those of us who can be using less land and finding more peace. But you know, I hate to chop down trees. I hate to. I'm now trying to get some mice out of my house, and I don't. I've waited too long, but you know, there has to be.
Jacob,
Yeah.
Jacob, I love your story. It's fabulous to hear you speak. The end part of it, I might edit a little bit, but the main gist of your story is wonderful to hear. I really appreciate your sharing.
Well,
I'm going to stop the recording.